pause put in on the tariffs. Can you walk us through your thinking about why you decided to put a 90-day pause?
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know? They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit...
No, this was not some savvy negotiating tactic. Trump capitulated, and don't take it from me, that's actually a direct quote from this Fox News reporter.
The art of the deal, or be cool. He said he was watching the bond market, and that's what decided this. He had to cave, and our very own Charlie Gasparino has been on for the last couple of hours saying that he wished it weren't so, but that the truth is that the White House capitulated.
You know, I don't want to say this because I'm a patriot, I'm an American, but it is the White House who capitulated based on everything I hear and all my sources.
Oh, that's gonna hurt!
You see, if you're just tuning in to the latest episode of This is America, we have more off on tariffs as our fearless leader caves on his alleged non-negotiable tariffs, right, Caroline?
If this was the strategy all along to bring them to the table, why did you instruct or advise, or maybe they did it on their own, some of your top aides to say this is not a negotiation, to hold the line?
The president was asked and answered this yesterday. He said he's not considering an extension or a delay. I spoke to him before this briefing. That was not his mindset. He expects that these tariffs are going to go into effect. And there will be a 90-day pause on the reciprocal tariffs as these negotiations are ongoing, and the tariff level will be brought down to a universal 10% tariff. Many of you in the media clearly missed the art of the deal. You clearly failed to see what President Trump is doing here. That
they were going to hold the line, that you were not going to change your mind.
A lot of times it's not a negotiation until it is.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Yes, more ebbs and flows as the president plays with everyone's 401k like it was his own board game. What did of a board game, right? Oh yeah, it was pulled after Ditamasi, the manufacturer, said, quote, the game was just nailed to the shelf.
Stupid people. Maybe corrupt, I don't know. I don't know how you can be that stupid. How do you get to be president and you're stupid?
Anyway, what inevitably takes place when Trump is forced to walk back his big, beautiful plans for America? Well, his band of cult followers who have built up quite the tolerance for snake oil present it as this masterful negotiating tactic. But watch as this Fox News correspondent went off script, slamming the network's attempts to frame Donald Trump's sudden 90-day pause on his sweeping tariff plan as an example of his brilliant negotiating prowess. Fox host John Roberts and Sandra Smith, clearly with one eye on what was happening on X, tried to quote Trump's, quote, art of the deal mantra. But Fox business correspondent Charles Gasparino had to force his Fox colleagues to face the music. And, well, it's worth a watch, especially the whole capitulated part.
Great to be here.
Around the table.
Around the table.
You're saying that now?
Good opening line. Thank you. Trump even admitted that it wasn't the art of the deal or be cool. He said he was watching the bond market, and that's what decided this. He had to cave. I think CNBC's Steve Leisman, he said he didn't just flinch, he ducked. There are trillions still lost, and our very own Charlie Gasparino has been on for the last couple of hours saying that he wished it weren't so, but that the truth is that the White House capitulated. We still have tons of tariffs on, even our closest trading partners. They still don't make any sense. There's a lack of clarity on the specific numbers for Mexico and Canada.
Well, I mean, because of the mixed messaging, how can you doubt them? I mean, let's be clear what happened. You know, who capitulated here and why? And, you know, I don't want to say this because I'm a patriot. I'm an American. But it is the White House who capitulated based on everything I hear and all my sources. And the reason why is because of the bond market and what happened last night. You know, Bessent knows this better than anybody. When you have yields on the 10-year rising to 5%, stuff starts shutting down. When you have the lending markets screwed up. By the way, who was dumping the bonds? Somebody asked them if it was China, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't. It was Japan. While he was negotiating with Japan, according to my sources, who are running major money management firms that are involved in the bond market, without giving up names, Japan was dumping bonds because they believed this was not a great place to do business. That forced their hands. Now, what you can say, I think, legitimately here, is Trump decided to take the win. And here's why. There was overwhelmingly, you know, deal potential here among the entire world, except for maybe China, right? Everybody really wanted something. So he did take the win, but make no mistake about it. Peter Navarro was talking as of yesterday about not taking the win, and now they did. And it's all because of the bond market.
Now, this comes as the self-professed business guru announced a 90-day pause on the most egregious tariffs, claiming it was due to countries being willing to negotiate. You know, absolutely nothing to do with the colossal loss in market value.
The whole country is reeling right now from the economic disaster Trump has plunged us into. He destroyed more than $10 trillion in American wealth in a single week, and then he went golfing.
Hence the vague answers from Secretary Scott Bessent and Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt when they were asked during a press conference to clarify the shift after Trump plunged the country into the red.
Secretary Bessent, can you explain more of the decision making on what feels like a reversal here? I mean, just these went into effect less than 15 hours ago, these tariffs. Why the pause now? What led to that?
No, again, President Trump created maximum negotiating leverage for himself, and which tariffs went into effect 15 hours ago? The ones that we have lowered went into effect a week ago. They were announced a week ago, and we have just been overwhelmed by the response from mostly our allies who want to come and negotiate in good faith.
But what always sticks out to me when we go on this, you know, on this Trumpian merry-go-round is the ritualistic humiliation that he subjects the people who work for him to. So Bessent says this was the plan all along. So you were okay then with being made out to be a complete liar because you've been doing interviews on our network, going on the Sunday show, saying absolutely not, that we're not capitulating on this. We're not going back on it. Caroline Leavitt calling fake news as recently as yesterday. Lutnick, he was on with you multiple times, it felt like, or it was the world's longest interview, talking about how this isn't a joke and, you know, we'll be a manufacturing economy, which we don't even want to be.
And here's the thing, right? You don't have to read between the lines to see that this is complete BS. Despite the administration claiming 75 countries have approached the White House to negotiate, how many deals have been struck? If this was, in fact, to strengthen the country's backbone and make people want to buy American again, as they had claimed while everyone's retirement took an absolute nosedive, then why shift? Why not stick to your guns? Unless it was purposeful to make some already wealthy people wealthier. No, that's too obvious, right? I mean, it's not like the president literally sent a message saying, buy now, when the stocks were tanking just before announcing a pause, right? Oh, of course he did.
Are you aware that the tariffs have been paused?
I am, yes.
When were you made aware of that?
Well, I understood the decision was made a few minutes ago.
Sitting here.
Under discussion.
Sitting here, under discussion. So did you know that this was under discussion, and why did you not include that as part of your opening remarks?
So typically what I don't do is divulge the contents of my discussions with
What are the
President
details of the pause?
Well, my understanding is that because so many countries have decided not to retaliate, we're going to have about 90 days.
China increased their tariffs on the United States. Trump blinked.
What's the blink, sir?
What do you know about this pause? What are the details of it?
Well, the details, as I understand it, is that China continues to retaliate. Other countries didn't retaliate. The president 2 or 3 days ago said we wanted to negotiate with those countries that asked for meetings. That's what we're doing.
What are the details? How long is the pause? How many days? How many weeks?
I understand it's 90 days. I haven't spoken to the president since I've been in this
So the trade
hearing.
representative hasn't spoken to the president of the United States about a global reordering of trade.
Yes, I have. I've just been in the hearing with you, sir.
But yet he announced it on a tweet. WTF? Who's in charge?
The president of the United States is in charge.
And what do you know about those details?
Well, as I mentioned,
it looks like your boss just pulled the rug out from under you. Is this market manipulation?
No.
Why not? If it was a plan, if it was always the plan, how is this not market manipulation?
It's not market manipulation, sir.
Well, then what is it? Because it sure is not a strategy.
The grift that keeps grifting, folks.
Love this video? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch and help us blow past 1 million followers.